I just think that diaspora wars between black people from the diaspora in 2025 and the big 2025 is fucking ridiculous. I had a conversation today with the Haitian American man. Well, he's not even American. He's born in Haiti. Went to school in Haiti, came up to America at whatever years old. And I was telling him how nuanced and how specific a black American's experience is in America and in the world, right? I was telling him about systemic racism. I was telling him about how we are taught to be inferior from grade school when they teach us about slavery and nothing about like our grand, bright history. I told him how if we have slave lineage, we don't really know where the we originate from in Africa. And that can be really like debilitating to us.
Real quick, for anybody that's going through this, because I know it's a learning curve that people go through, and if people don't know, so I'm not gonna hold it against her too much because it was a point in time I didn't know. But y'all gotta stop thinking that y'all have to prove yourselves. So if somebody asks you where you from, and you say you from Georgia, stop thinking that you have to prove yourself when they say no. Where are you really from? Like, can somebody Google when did Georgia become a state? Didn't Georgia become a state in like the 1800s or like the 1700s? Wasn't one of the? It was like one of the first states in the South to be established. Stop thinking that you have to prove yourself to anybody that's like not trying to accept the fact that you say you from Georgia or you say you from Mississippi or Alabama or Texas. Like that's where you from. These people that ask these questions are doing this because they don't respect you. So when she's saying like, well, we don't know where we from. Yes, we do know where we from because our ancestors have been in these places for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. So a lot of the countries that, and I'm not talking about all Africans and Caribbeans. Y'all know I say this all the time. It's not everybody. I'm only talking about the tethers. If you're African and Caribbean and you're not a tether, don't none of the stuff that I say on my channel when I'm talking negatively about them tethers apply to you. Because I know some cool Africans and Caribbeans. But a lot of the tethers, when they talk about where they from and they say, oh, I'm from Nigeria, I'm Nigerian, ask them 1788. Thank you. So Georgia became a state. Listen to what I'm about to say. Thank you for that, indigenous. Georgia became a state January 2nd, 1788. When did Nigeria become an established nation, an independent nation? 1965. Some of y'all ancestors, you can trace your lineage back to 1788. Some of y'all great-great-grandfathers, you can trace back to 1788. I trace my lineage back to 1723 in North Carolina. So they'll tell you, well, no, where are you really from? Why don't you ask the people that say these negative things? And I don't mean to always throw Nigeria under the bus, but it's just the first country that I think of when I think of Africa. And it's a lot of tethers from Nigeria. I'm keeping it 100. But when they say these things, it's like, well, when did Georgia became a state? Like I said, 1788. When did Nigeria become Nigeria? It was either 1964 or 1965. Actually, the same time the Immigration Nationality Act. So the same time that we was like on the verge of like being out of the civil rights movement and like getting these laws and policies passed was the same time that they countries became countries. So ask them, where was your ancestors in 1788? Ask them and see what they say. They don't even know. They don't even know where their ancestors was in 1788. We do. So because people migrated to Nigeria, there were certain tribes that went over to Nigeria from other different places. You know what I'm saying? This is all across Africa in general. So whenever they say like, okay, well, you from Georgia, but where you really from? Well, ask them, okay, you said you Nigeria, but Nigeria became a state in 64 or 65. Where was your family in the 1700s or the 1800s? They have no idea. So don't let them try to like downplay you or play you on that tip. Let's keep going though.
Because we don't have a language. Our language is English, originate from in Africa. And that can be really like debilitating to us because we don't have a language. Our language is English. We don't really have
Yeah, this is a woman, and I'm not trying to disrespect this woman because she genuinely don't know, but we do have a language. We have multiple languages. I want people to stop like thinking that like Black Americans we have an identity. We have a language. We have a whole like it's just crazy that she don't know this at this point, but I think that she's gonna slowly but surely figure this out over time. That like we have literally languages that have been created. Tuttonese. If anybody don't know what Tuttonese is, go Google what Tuttonese is. It's a language that slaves used during slavery to be able to communicate with each other. It's called Tuttonese, and some of y'all know Tuttonese. You can go to TikTok right now and type in Tuttonese. You can hear people talking in Tuttonese language. It's a black American language. It's not something that comes from nowhere else. So when people say we don't have a language, yes, we do. Even other forms of communication, because all language is a form of communication. So when we talk to each other, if you're from Chicago, there's a certain language from Chicago. If you're from New York, if you're from Atlanta, if you're from Jersey, if you're from wherever you're from, Philly, I'm from Cleveland, people from Detroit, if you're from LA, you know what I'm saying? If you're from wherever you're from, y'all have verbal forms of communications and languages. So we need to stop acting like we don't have these things. And also too, English is a language. English is a language that we have. So I want y'all, if anybody that's not enlightened enough, and I'm not gonna get on this woman too much because I genuinely believe that she don't know, and a lot of us was in this place before, including myself. So I'm not gonna get on her too much, but like we gotta understand that like we have all of these things. We have just been indoctrinated to believe that we don't have no history, and all our history just ties back to Africa. Go look up your Black American history. Go look it up. Go look up what your family was doing in the 1700s and 1800s. And it's not just slavery. It's way more to our history than that. But generally, people don't know because they don't teach this stuff in school. You have to be able to teach yourself. That's why knowledge of self is important. And unfortunately, most Black Americans just don't got that. Jersey in the building. Shout out to Jersey. No, people know about Tuttonese. It ain't about keeping it a secret. It's about keeping it a secret when it comes to being able to understand it. But people know what Tuttonese is. I mean, that ain't no secret at this point. People know what it is. If you do some self-research, you know what Tuttonese is. But let's keep going.
We're not connected to the motherland. We don't know, and we have to pay to know. Like, we have to swab our spit and send it in for us to figure out who the fuck we are. And I think that's real.
Anybody that believe that DNA stuff is crazy. Sean, thank you for the $20 donation. He said, good evening. And I appreciate you, OG. Likewise, good evening.
Real trifling, and I think it's real crazy.
Shout out to Sean.
I explained to him how systems are set up for Black Americans to fail, and how Black Americans continuously succeed and raise the bar in every field in America, period. And he goes on to say that, he goes on to shit on Black Americans. And my thing is, like, I have no problems with Black people from the diaspora or Black immigrants, African immigrants, whatever. But what you're not going to do is come to America and act like, since you guys came to America, like you guys work harder and you guys take opportunities faster. You have to realize that Black Americans have laid the groundwork for you guys to come and succeed here, whether you believe it or not. A lot of you and a lot of your families, if you're an immigrant from another country and you're Black, a lot of your families, you guys see us differently. Like, you guys other us and like undermine us, and like you forget that the reason why you're wearing Timbs and a fucking fitted and a fucking Averex jacket and some hard denim is because of us. Y'all love our fucking culture. You love our slang. You love our music, which is our, like I said, it's our culture. You love all the hip parts of our culture, just like everyone else from every other race does. But when it's time to give Black people credit, I rarely see it from you guys. And I'm really fucking fed up, because Black Americans are so welcoming, and we are so interested in other cultures, and we show so much love. But when it's time for it to be given back to us, we're always continuously shit on in some way, shape, or form. Like, I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand. And I feel like the saying, everyone wants to be a nigga until it's time to be a nigga, is specifically catered to Black Americans, because that's just so true. It's so true. And I feel like I can dive deeper into this. And I'm not saying that this is every Black immigrant. I'm not saying that this is every Black person from the diaspora that comes to America for better opportunities. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that from my experience, not just this conversation today, but I've had conversations with many Black immigrants from the diaspora and from the world. And I have listened to their views on Black Americans, and it's so skewed and it's so disrespectful, and I'm really tired of it. And you guys got to look inwards and and ask yourself, why do you guys see us this way? Take the Black stereotypes out of your fucking mind, because we're amazing. We're amazing just like you. We might not know exactly what African country we come from. We might not have a specific language. But, you know, Black Americans, like, we're cool as fuck. And our history is beyond fucking slavery. That's all I can say. We're not inferior.
Well, I think the part of the issue, right? I think a part of the issue is the reason, part of the reason, not the full reason, but part of the reason why people come over here and they have such a disdain and disrespect towards us. We have to take accountability as a community. We add to it because we don't do enough due diligence in understanding our history. Now, that's not fully our fault. We know historically there's been things set up that way for it to be, but for my generation, ain't no excuses because we spend all our time on the phone. We spend all our time swiping and doing this and doing that. We got plenty of time and plenty of time throughout the day to figure out simply our history. And for this woman to be the age that she is, and for her to keep saying, well, we don't know where Afro, where we come from, or we don't know what language we come from, we don't know about anything. Yes, we do. You don't know. And I think that's the problem. So if a lot of us don't know, they damn sure don't know. So when they coming over here, they, not all of them, again, I'm talking about the tethers. When they come over here, they don't know, and then you don't know. So they already looking at us as some type of negative light because we not able to stand on our own history. Because when asked these questions, it's like, well, what language do you know, nigga? And her, well, we don't know. Yes, we do. Tuttonese is one of them, and it's more than that. Somebody said we also speak Creole. I don't speak Creole, but if you from New Orleans, if you from the South and all that, you already know. People speak Spanish. It's all type of languages. You know what I'm saying? So when you say these things, it's like you pushing more of that narrative and that agenda, but you using TikTok and a platform. You could have easily done your research before you made this video. Again, I'm not gonna go on the woman too much because if you don't know, you don't know. Again, I didn't know, right? When I was like 19, 20, 21, 22. But then I started to look at the right stuff. I started to listen and read and look up articles and listen to podcasts, and I started to become more enlightened. You got to understand your history. Exactly. Luxury says, like, damn, just ask your grandma about your history. Your grandma, your mother. It took me to do my genealogy on Ancestry.com. I showed y'all. I traced my lineage back to 1723, my 8 times great grandfather from Showa, North Carolina. It took me to just simply ask my mama, where what you call it come from? Oh, you got people in Georgia, we got people in South Carolina, we got people in North Carolina. I didn't even know all of this until I asked her. Gullah language, yeah, Gullah Geechee, that too. So she doesn't understand it. So I think this is the problem. It's the lack of information and knowledge of self that we have from our own. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what we got to get to. But I think channels like mine, I think other channels and all of these different people that that kind of put this information out there, it's starting to change, and we starting to become enlightened on who we are in our history. English, period. English is an ancient tongue. The language of the gods is a Phoenician American. It is Phoenician American Indians spoke it for thousands of years. Yeah, so all of that, I'll go another one again. So all of that is being, all of that is stuff that people can easily just look up, but they just choose not to. So I think we need to get into the space, and I think everybody in here knows that. But I think we need to get into the space that we stop thinking that it's only verified if white people say so. And I think that's a big issue that we have as a community, because we'll claim that these people are also racist. We'll claim that these people don't, you'll see people on the internet all day. Will white people racist and we shouldn't trust them about our history. We shouldn't trust them about food. We shouldn't trust them about this. We shouldn't trust them about that. But then when it's coming to time from a black person to tell you, yeah, that there's languages that we've in tribes, and we have a history well before 1619 when so-called all of us came over here from another continent across the world, so-called. Oh no, that's the pseudoscience. No, it's not pseudoscience. It's actually documented facts. And if you ask your own, your grandparents, they'll tell you that they Indians. They'll tell you. A lot of people will. A lot of people got Indian in a actual lineage, right? So, but again, we're taught to look at America as a foreign land. We are taught to look at this place as this is not where we come from. So, because, and the reason why that is, right? The reasons why we have all of these different movements that black people have started, and they've always infiltrated it, and why they try to push these things on us, is because they don't want us to revolt. That's really what the reason why. They don't want us to have some type of rebellious spirit within us, because, hold on, y'all came over here and took over our land. Y'all came over here and did this to our people. Oh, we got to fight back. They do this purposely. It's all psychological warfare, and that's the. If you could take over somebody psychologically, you don't need no weapons. You don't need no guns. You can take them over psychologically and make the black man and the black woman bicker all day. You can make the black man look at his own self as an enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what it is. You can make them be in control by certain music. You can make them be controlled by all the negative things. So you could just destroy their community and destroy their culture, and they not understand their real true power. You feel me? That's really how you control somebody. You ain't gotta kill them, you ain't gotta do none of that. And then just do simple things like systematic racism. You ain't gotta walk around. Some people think racism is just somebody saying the N-word. I don't even care about that. I ain't all that overt racism talking. That ain't doing nothing to me. The true stuff is it be the people that be these lawyers and these judges and these city sheriffs and people that actually control things that make people not have access to stuff or make people not get justice. That's the true warfare that's going on, but it goes on behind the scenes so people don't have to take accountability because those people are cowardly. You feel me? So that's where we got to get the point to, or that's where we got to get to understanding that. How much sense it make only white people can be American? Boy, we got off the boat at the same time. But even when people say that only white people can be American, how you American and you came here in 1923? People don't understand that. Most of white people, not all of them, because you got the Anglos that was here from day one, but most white people didn't get to America. All these people from Ireland and the Irish and the Polands and all these people, all these Scotland and all these people that come from Europe, they didn't get to America until the late 1800s, all the way up until the 1950s. Like when they was coming over here and they were just classifying themselves as, we're just American. Y'all know that dude online, the Gypsy Crusader? Do y'all know his family didn't get over here until like the 1950s and 1960s? But he claimed that he the most American person and he want to protect the country. He's a true patriot. It was the Patriots was a patriot. Your family came over here in the 50s. What you mean you a patriot? You came over to an established place that you didn't build because you fled your filthy homeland because you couldn't get it popping over there. But they get on the internet and they spew all this stuff. Even the town and the video that I reacted to. And again, if you white and you gonna watch this video, I'm not talking about all of y'all. But if you get upset to this, then I'm talking about you. The hit dog solid. But remember that white only town that I reacted to, and I posted that video. The like it was in where was it? It was in Arkansas somewhere. I think it was in Zinc or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was in Zinc, Arkansas. They had that little white only town. That town, it was supposed to be like American whites. They had a bunch. It was a bunch of Norwegians in it. People that didn't get to America until like the 1910s, 1920s. Y'all got people that's not even in the lineage that y'all want to preserve. It don't even make sense. So to me, look, if your family ain't been here since from the 1776, the inception, if you can't trace your lineage back to like the 1860 census, hey man, look, you an outsider. And that's just what it's gonna be. That's just what it is. Like at the end of the day. My family been here a little before the 1600s. Yeah, some people, I know some of y'all trace y'all lineage back. I've seen actual paperwork people sent me on my DMs on Instagram. Sent me paperwork. Yeah, it failed, by the way, exactly, Kate. That they trace their lineage back to America from the 1500s. Well before 1619. So, you can miss me with all that, man. These people crazy.